We'll do some Nama Sankirtanam and get started. Om Namah Shivaya, 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 Om Namah Shivaya. Om Har Har Namah Parvati Pataye, Har Har Mahadev. Satgurunath Maharaj ki jai. Om Shri Chinmaya Satgurave Namaha. 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 Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Ramo Rajamani Sada Vijayate Ramam Ramesham Bhaje Ramena Vihata Nishacharachamu Ramaya Tasmai Namaha. Raman Nasti Parayanam Parataram Ramasya Dasosmyaham. Rame Chittalaya Sada Bhavatu me Bho Rama Mamuddhara. Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam. Namami Chinmayam Devam Satgurum Brahma Vidwaram. Satgurum Brahma Vidwaram. Hari Om. We will chant together from 31st verse, 3rd chapter. Ye me matamidam nityam anutishtanti manavaha shraddhavanto nasuyantah muchyante tepi karmabhihi ye tve tadabhyasuyantah nanutishtanti me matam sarvajnana vimudhanstan viddhi nashtana chetasah sadrusham cheshtate swasyaha prakruterjnanavanapi prakrutim yanti bhutani nigrahah kim karishyati. In verse number 30, Bhagwan gave the main teaching of Karma Yoga. how one can live a life devoting, offering all actions to Bhagavan, and how that attitude, how that bhava frees a sadhaka from anxiety. That anxiety is called as jvara. He says that sadhaka will become free from anxieties in life. I will take care of whatever has to be done for that sadhaka. Then Bhagavan said, those who don't find faults in this teaching, even if they are not perfect yet, they will still reach their goal. That is the main point over here. Sometimes we feel this teaching is not working for me, or I'm having a lot of doubts about this teaching. I'm unable to reflect upon this teaching. There I should ask myself this question: have I wholeheartedly accepted Bhagavan's words or not? Once that happens, on top of that, we can do reflection, we can do more inquiry. But if I start my journey with a doubt, rather with this attitude of trying to disprove Bhagavan, I will face more obstacles. Meaning, questioning is never discouraged. It's only questioning with reverence. Questioning with reverence, that is what is asked. Okay, so that is this Shraddhavantaha Anasuyantaha. Those who have Shraddha in my words and those who don't find faults in my words, they will reach the goal. What about others? Bhagavan said, Sarva Jnana Vimudanstan Vidhi Nashtan Achetasaha. Others, those who don't have this faith, those who find faults in Bhagavan's teaching, they will be deprived from the supreme-most purpose of life, which is abidance in true self. Or at more transactional level, they will be left with a very agitated mind. That was Nasha, two meanings we had seen. Now Arjuna is asking Bhagavan, in spite of knowing this fact, that we should follow your teaching, we should abide by your teaching, still why do people end up doing what they want to do? They don't listen to your teaching of karma yoga. This mind very easily falls back on our older habits. That is when Bhagavan brought in this topic where he said, all of us function based on our latent impressions, which we have gathered in this life, and also some has come from previous lives. So it's a very thick layer of impressions, what we otherwise call as swabhava. The personality that we have built for ourselves, that as though decides how our response, how our choice in this world is going to be. If we don't appreciate this point, we feel that choices are randomly getting made. We say no, it is based on our swabhava. Based on that, we are making our choices. And if swabhava becomes so overpowering, I feel as though my life is on autopilot mode. Before I can think, I've already made that decision. Sometimes if you have a strong liking for some food item and you just see the board, some pizza shop or something is there. Before we have thought about whether I really want to have this or not, you have already entered and come out. Made a decision already. And so many things happen without us really thinking about it. So that is this line Bhagavan says, Sadrusham cheshtate swasyaha. All of us function based on our swabhava. So don't be surprised, don't get frustrated if we are unable to change our choices right away. And Bhagavan says not to talk, what to talk about ordinary people, even jnanis, they also function based on their swabhava. Sadrusham cheshtate swasyaha prakrutehe jnanavan api. Jnanavan api means what? Even jnanis function based on their swabhava. Prakrutim yanti bhutani. All of us are led towards our swabhava. What is the point in external restraint? Nigraha kim karishyati. This is not to say that we should not have external restraint, but this is only to say that we have to work on our swabhava. It won't it won't happen naturally. It will need some kind of effort. Now Arjuna must have asked, Bhagwan, now this is good. All that you have told me is part of the problem. You analyze the problem very well for me. Now tell me one technique which will help me change my swabhava. Whatever swabhava I want to change for myself, tell me one technique which will actually accomplish it for me. That is Bhagwan's style of teaching. He will analyze the problem, but also give a perspective. He doesn't leave us there. He doesn't say, okay, swabhava is the problem, now you figure out how to change swabhava. He says, no, there is one technique. And the beauty of this technique is we don't have to go somewhere. We don't have to do something different. We don't have to start doing something new. He says, in and through our life, there are few small tweaks that we need to do. What are those tweaks? Let us see in 34th verse. Indriyasyendriyasyarthe raga-dveshau vyavasthitau tayornavashamagachet tauhyasya paripanthinau. These are all, beautiful sutras for sadhana, tips for sadhana. Understanding these facts of life will make sure that we are approaching our life in a more intelligent way, and we are relating with others also in an intelligent way. See what Bhagwan says here. Indriyasyarthe raga-dveshau vyavasthitau. Indriyasya means of sense organs. Indriyasyarthe, towards sense objects. Raga-dveshau, preferences, likes and dislikes. Vyavasthitau means they are very well there. They are going to remain. Just now you said Raga-dvesha is the problem, right? And now you are saying that Indriyas will have preferences towards sense objects. Now let us see whether this is true or not. How many sense organs do we have? Organs of perception, let us say. 5. Very good. First one is eyes. Chakshurendriya. What is the object of eyes? You can say color. Technically speaking, it is rupa, but you can say color. Now, just for color, how many preferences we have? Right? Home color, car color. Some people like bright. When you go to their home, it will be like bright red, bright yellow. I get camouflaged, when I sit. Or car color, somebody likes very bright. Or somebody likes mellower, very calm. So that is one preference. And just on this preference, entire industry is built. It is said previously, when products used to be made, right, when industrial revolution took place, only one color. There was a time in that Model T of that Ford car. I think Henry Ford, he said, you can buy this car in any color as long as it is black. Means only one, because it was available for mass production only in that one color. But with so much of variety, multi-million-dollar industry behind just color. Now come to the next one, ears. What is the sense object of ear? Sound, music. So many genres, right? Somebody likes metal, very heavy music. Somebody likes mellower, quiet one. So Bhagwan says, for Indriya, towards its Indriya Vishaya, Raga-dvesha vyavasthitau. What I'm trying to point out here is, nobody can say, I like all types of music. Nobody can say, I like all types of colors. Eyes and ears we saw. What is the next one? You come to nose. What is the sense object of nose? Fragrance, smell. In that we have so much of variety. Right? Somebody likes very strong fragrance, in particular perfumes. Right? You know that attar, they say. If you have allergy, then it's a great tapasya to be around. You feel like you've entered some airport, when that person comes. So towards that, we'll have so many choices, so many preferences. No sense object. Then you come to tongue. What to talk about tongue? Food preferences based on the region that we have grown up. Right? North Indian will like North Indian food. South Indian might like South Indian food. Many a times when I ask people over here, why don't you eat with me? I say, no, you eat. You will go home and eat. Then recently I came to know why they say that. They say, without tair sadam, no matter what we eat, it feels incomplete. And that should be our last thing. In soup and vegetables and all, they are not satisfying enough. And fair enough, that is their diet. That is how they have grown up. The point is, Bhagavan says, this thing we should accept as a fact of life. It cannot be wiped off completely. Indriyasya indriyasyarthe raga-dvesha vyavasthita. What is the last one that remained? Touch, skin sense organ. Different types of fabrics. So much of preferences we have. Somebody says, I wear only khadi, only cotton. Somebody says some other thing. So Bhagavan says all of that he classifies into only one line. He says towards sense objects, we will have some or the other preferences. Now then Bhagavan, what did I accomplish? This I knew before also. Now what did you accomplish by telling me this? Bhagavan says, read the second line. Tayor na vasham agachet. Tayoho na vasham agachet. Make sure that these preferences don't become the governors. These preferences should not govern my life. As long as that is accomplished, everything is okay. Now, what does this mean? Tayor na vasham agachet. One meaning is, if I don't get my choice, if I don't get my preference, my mind should not throw tantrums. Or it should not feel, I cannot move forward if I don't get my choice. In particular, it happens with food. If somebody has very strong preference, and let us say they are out with a group, where minimal choices are there, you have to eat what everybody eats. If that person has a very strong preference, very difficult to go out anywhere. Many people say that also. These yatra and camps that you do, it is not our cup of tea. They say because some preferences are there which we cannot drop. So what do they drop? Satsang itself. That gets dropped because of preferences. Gurudev, today is Gurudev Jayanti. That's why we chanted his name. His entire life was a demonstration in all these values. Every Mahatma's life for that matter. If you want to see how to live this value, we should see their life. We all know that Gurudev was from, his body, Sharira was from the south. And he was used to Kerala food very nicely, traditionally made Kerala food. And it is more rice oriented. Right? Most of the South Indian cuisine is rice oriented. And he would travel all over the world. Right? So in one place, he was in Lucknow, North India. And there, rice they make once a month. Rice is like a luxury. Once a month they will make. Those are from the north will agree. Everyday rice is not made. So they were serving Gurudev rotis, and all different North Indian cuisines. And his health was also such that doctors had advised him, let him be in his, comfort food, comfort diet. So the Swamiji who was sitting next to him, he was looking at that, person who was serving, and he was indicating to her, this is not what he eats. If there is rice, please bring some rice for him. Gurudev in his stern voice looked at him and said, we are Swamis. We should not demand. Just eat what is served. Just eat what is served. We are monks. We should not demand. That Swamiji said he himself had a lot of preferences. After that day, he stopped asking what I want and what I don't like. In that, having this some kind of samatva with food. That is one way to look at tayor navasham agachet. Tayor navasham agachet means what? It should not become so overpowering that my mind starts throwing tantrums when I don't get what I want. Second meaning of tayor navasham agachet is my preference should not become an inconvenience for somebody else. My preference should not be so overpowering that I don't care about whether other person is getting inconvenience because of my preference. If that much I can accomplish, or accomplishing this itself becomes a sadhana. Either with food, with music also. I might like some kind of music, but if everybody does not like it, then I should not impose my preference on somebody else. Or at least make sure that it doesn't become an inconvenience for the other person. Okay. Tayoho na vashamagachet. And that part we are trying to understand. The last one is that my choice or preference should not preoccupy me completely. Because that is the later part. Tau hyasya paripanthina. These raga-dveshas which are there, and if they are fully controlling me, then they are going to be thieves. Paripanthina means thieves. What are they going to steal? First thing they will steal is my time. Right? If I'm just swinging across different options, first thing that I'm losing is my time. Haven't we seen sometimes we want something and we look for it for 3 hours and end up not buying anything? That is this one. It has fully got us into vasham, so much so that it is taking my time away. That is one thing. And second thing, what it is going to steal is my prajna. Prajna means whatever knowledge I have gained about Brahma. Knowledge of Brahman demands that I see equanimity everywhere. I see samatva everywhere. And raga-dveshas will make sure that I see vishamatva everywhere. Vishamatva means differences. This I like, that I don't like. So the moment I say, I like this food, natural thing with that is, I don't like something else. And if stronger is my like, proportional is my dislike. That is how it works. They are, elder brother and younger brother. Raga is elder brother. Dvesha is younger brother. Okay. Tayor navashamagachet tauhyasya paripanthina. Now this was from a very broad standpoint. How our preferences should not govern my choices. Preferences should not be so strong that it starts governing my choices, takes away my time, takes away my knowledge. There is one more layer of meaning to this. Tayor navashamagachet tauhyasya paripanthina. What it means is, my preferences should not become so overpowering that it pushes me to do adharma. This is a little subtler. Not only with food, they are actually innocent choices. It will only take away time. Food, color, those preferences are okay. But if I have strong raga-dvesha towards somebody, and it becomes so overpowering that it makes me partial, he says that is what we should protect ourselves from. Whenever we are in any position for that matter, either at work, in family, decisions are taken based upon sense of duty, not based upon my preferences. If that I can accomplish, Bhagavan says slowly our swabhava will start changing. All of this is in connection with previous verse. Bhagavan said swabhava decides how we function in the world, but where do I start? How do I change my swabhava? Bhagavan says we should train ourselves to be okay if we don't get what we prefer. This is the whole purpose of going for Tirtha Yatra. With minimal planning, little bit inconvenience should be there. That will teach us that even if I don't get the weather of my choice, if you go to temples in India and you say, I want to stay in this temple, you'll say, of course, accommodation is available. And what are the things available there? You'll have a bed, you'll have one jar to fill water, and one fan will be there. At the most luxurious, one table will be there with nothing on top of it. But you realize, even if you stay there for a short time, it's so rejuvenating, so refreshing, because that simplicity has reduced our choices. Nothing we can do, right? Only that thing is there, so you have to stay there and keep your mind in Bhagavan. Morning, there will be one arti, afternoon, evening. During the day, some program will be going on there. Right? So we can keep our mind in that main topic, main subject. So this one is little subtler. Raga-dvesha pushing me to become partial, to take sides. And what is the best example for this? There is one good example and not so good example in our own Purana. Good example is Yudhishthira. Dhritarashtra, who gave them so much of trouble, made them go through so many difficulties. Yudhishthira does pranams to them every day. After the war, he keeps Dhritarashtra and Gandhari as his own parents in his palace and goes and takes their blessings after Sandhya Vandanam every day. Now, this is not arising out of his Raga-dvesha. This sense of duty is what is prompting him to do that vyavahara, that transaction. On the other hand, you have Duryodhana, right? All his transactions are based on Raga-dvesha. That I want this kingdom, and for that, whatever I have to do, I will do. Okay, two opposites you see. One is Yudhishthira, another is Duryodhana. Even in their fathers, you will see a difference. Not Yudhishthira's father. You can take Dashrath Maharaj and Dhritarashtra. Dashrath Maharaj also loved his son. And you see that portion in Ramayana of how he is wanting to make Bhagwan Rama as the king. First he goes and asks his teacher. And then he goes and asks all his ministers. He says, if you all agree, then only I will go ahead. Because I might have some partiality. Everybody's child is very dear to them. They'll see no faults, no matter what. Right? So he said, something might have gotten missed. You all have to tell me whether Bhagwan Rama can become king or not. On the other hand, we have Dhritarashtra, who also loved his son. But his way was, no matter what happens, Duryodhana has to become the king. He would listen to everybody. Vidura also he listened, Vidurji also he listened. But when it came to taking a decision, that decision is prompted by likes and dislikes. So if this somebody is able to manage in their life, Bhagavan says that will help them unfold from inside. That is this part. Tayor navashamagachet tauhyasya paripanthino. There was one great Mahatma Ji, I've told his name several times, Karpatri Ji Maharaj. He used to say one line, human beings, we have a unique tendency. Either our actions will be according to our convictions. Either our actions will be according to our right convictions, or we will try to find convictions according to our wrong actions. Or we will try to change our convictions based on our wrong actions. He says one is jnana anusari karma. Means convictions are right. According to that, my karma is happening. Or another way is karma anusari jnanam. According to my karma, jnanam starts happening. Means mind is very good in finding justification. And if somebody says, eating vegetarian food, that is a good thing. One should not eat non-vegetarian food. Right? So this is what? Jnana anusari karma. If somebody can live by this. But if Raga-dvesha becomes so overpowering that he is unable to let go of this, what will that person do? Find justification. Oh, this Mahatma also ate fish. Right? Now, what is wrong in eating non-vegetarian food? So then, karma becomes jnana anusari, but not correct jnanam, some other jnanam. Justification it will try to find there. Even for sadhana, this happens. If somebody tells us, we should do our japa, do our sadhana regularly, and let us say, strong likes and dislikes are there, unable to find time. Some or the other thing is on my plate. Then what do? I start justifying that. Anyway, Bhagwan has said karma yoga, divinize all your actions. What is the need for sadhana in a particular place? Okay, so we should be very careful there. How Raga-dveshas slowly change our convictions. They are working other way also. Okay, jnana anusari karma or karma anusari jnanam. We should make sure we are in the first one. It happens even with satsang, We say we should do satsang once a week, Some shravanam should happen. Then this mind says, what is the point in studying so many texts? You should go deeper. You should hold on to one and you should go deeper. Don't have too many things that you are studying right now. So neither it will study more, nor it will go deeper. That is what this Raga-dvesha does. It will take us somewhere else. Okay. Now Bhagwan says, one of the main repercussion of having strong likes and dislikes is, it will stop us from doing our duty. Whatever is my swadharma, that I will drop. And whatever is not my duty, that will seem very appealing to me. That I will pick up, that I will start doing. Bhagwan says, don't do that. Bhagwan is very, very particular here. He says, identify your swadharma and stay by your swadharma. Even if it doesn't look glamorous, even if it doesn't look very appealing, he says, still I should do it. That is going to give me greater good in life in the long term than doing something else which is not my swadharma. Very beautiful verse, 35th one. Let us see this. Shreyan swadharmo vigunaha, Shreyan swadharmo vigunaha, Paradharmat swanushthitat, Paradharmat swanushthitat, Swadharme nidhanam shreyah, Swadharme nidhanam shreyah, Paradharmo bhayavah, Paradharmo bhayavah. Literal meaning of this verse is Shreyan swadharmo vigunaha. If you want to put anvaya, it is Vigunaha swadharmaha. That swadharma which probably is not my interest. It is not very glamorous. Means it is vigunaha. Vigunaha, in two ways it is translated. One meaning is viruddha gunaha. Viruddha guna means it is not what I really like. Like Arjuna for that matter. He didn't want to fight the war. So for him, his swadharma was vigunaha. He said, what is this? I don't like what I have to do. So it could be viruddha dharma. Or second is vigata gunaha. Vigata guna means it is not very glamorous, not very appealing to me. Vigunaha swadharmaha paradharmat swa anushtithat shreyan. Doing my swadharma well is much better than doing paradharma or doing my swadharma with some kind of shortcoming, vigunaha means that, is better than doing some paradharma very well. Okay. Did you all get this anvaya? I will repeat this. Vigunaha swadharma. My swadharma, which is having viguna, means it is not what I like. It is not very glamorous. But still I should do it. Doing this is much better than doing something else, somebody else's dharma, which is paradharma. Doing that very well. Compared to that, this thing is better. Suanushtitat shreyan. Swadharme nidhanam shreyah paradharmo bhayavaha. It is better to give up this physical body doing swadharma. Taking up somebody else's dharma brings lot of fear. Paradharma bhayavaha. Okay, this is literal meaning. Now let us try to understand what is swadharma. Simple meaning of swadharma is that thing which is done out of sense of duty, not based on my preferences or likes and dislikes, but because of my duty, whatever thing I do, that is called as swadharma. What will be paradharma? Paradharma means that which is not my duty, but I feel like doing it because I have some kind of preference. Some likes and dislikes are there which will push me towards doing those things. Okay. Now the question is, how do I know what is my swadharma? How do I know what is my swadharma? This point we had discussed in second chapter also. But again, we will touch upon it. So it is said there are three metrics or three levels of understanding our swadharma. First, swadharma comes based on the roles that we have taken in the world, in our career, family. The moment we have entered that role, it comes with do's and don'ts. So the do part of it is our swadharma. Right? Employee, the moment we join some company, they will have certain duties, certain roles and responsibilities specific to a position, not random, not genuine, right? They will say for this particular role, you have this responsibility. So very simple, that becomes my swadharma. Even though if it is viguna, that is the main point. Even though it is not very glamorous, not something that I want, not something that I like to do. Bhagavan says that is the whole point. If you always do what you like, how are you going to overcome likes and dislikes? Right? So whatever role is given to me, it will come with responsibility. Even though if it is not glamorous, not what I like, still I should do it. So I should sit down and think, what are my transactional roles I have taken? One will be career-wise, another will be family. So the moment somebody takes on the role of a mother, so swadharma will come along with that role. Moment somebody takes role of father, all the relations for that matter, son, daughter, so that is part of swadharma. Okay, so this is one level, career-wise and family-wise. Second way of determining swadharma is based on our inner condition of the mind. Inner condition of the mind, that is called as varna dharma. If somebody is very reflective in nature, likes to think a lot, so they will fall under brahmana. They will fall under brahmana. Somebody is more outgoing, very brave in terms of their personality. They like challenges. They like fight. More of rajasic oriented. So that will be kshatriya. Third one is they are more resourceful. Very good in contacts. Very good in networking. So that is Vaishya Dharma. For getting resources, one has to have that quality of being resourceful. Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and last one is Shudra. And somebody who likes repetitive tasks. Somebody who likes more of repetitive tasks. He said, that is my swadharma. That is what I am content with. So based on these gunas, based on the varnas, I can decide my swadharma. Some point of time, I might like more dynamic work. So it would either fall under Kshatriya or Vaishya. At some point of time, I might like more reflective work. It could be a journey in our own life. In career-wise also we see that. Initially, we might have aptitude for something very different, more outgoing, more bringing resources. But at some point you feel, been there, done that. I want to do something different, little bit more in tune with what is my inner conditioning right now. Okay, so that is Varna Dharma. Second one is called Ashrama Dharma. Ashrama Dharma is more with the journey of our life, outer conditions. If inner condition matches outer condition, there is a lot of prosperity. Right? So first ashrama is brahmacharya. So in brahmacharya it is said, one should not focus on giving. In particular, when we are studying in university, right? They are given scholarship sometimes. Now, what is that scholarship? This scholarship is to make sure that you don't have to worry about any other thing, just focus on learning. Because that phase is going to come now. After brahmacharya, if I enter grahastha ashrama, so there is minimal opportunity to learn more of giving. Of course, learning continues, but not as in brahmacharya ashrama. Then third one, after living a good life, vanaprastha ashrama. Starting to scale things down and moving towards the main purpose of life. You remember Dashrath Maharaj's whisper, right? That grey hair near the ear, whispering to him that now it is time to move from grahastha ashrama to vanaprastha. You don't have to run the kingdom. Make Bhagwan Rama as the king. Okay. The last one is sannyas ashrama. Means outer condition becomes very, very conducive to my inner conditioning. I hope the difference is clear, right? Varna dharma or varna ashrama was based on inner conditioning. And outer conditioning is these other four ashramas. Brahmacharya, Grahastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyasa. Inner conditioning was Varna Dharma. And outer conditioning is Ashrama Dharma. So if somebody says, what is my Swadharma? The question will be, where do you locate yourself in this coordinate? Right? Because Swadharma is specific to a given person. What is Swadharma for Brahmachari will not be Swadharma for Grahastha, will not be Swadharma for Sannyasi. Right? So I have to sit down and map myself in these coordinates. More clear I am with this, clearer is finding my Swadharma. Okay, so that is one way to look at it. Now the third one, there were three layers, right? One layer was outer roles, responsibilities, worldly titles, family titles. Second layer was Varna Dharma, Ashrama Dharma. Third meaning of Swadharma is Chaitanya Swarupa Brahma. That is the main goal. All other Swadharma should lead me to this main destination. It should not become an obstacle. So this point, I have to make sure that whatever dharma I am doing, it has a final goal. That journey by itself is not the goal. Right? When we take a flight, let us say, that flight itself is not the goal, right? We might have different classes there. Different varnashrama might be there. But goal is destination. I have to get down somewhere. So that getting down is this third point. Swadharma means Swarupa Avasthanam, abiding in my own true nature as Chaitanya. When I keep that as the goal, lot of things will fall in place. Every action I will do such that it will lead me towards this goal. Okay, so that is just one way of looking at what is this swadharma. 3 different layers. Now this swadharma, even if it is vigunaha, vigunaha, 2 meanings we saw, viruddha dharma or vigata dharma, or viruddha gunaha or vigata gunaha. Either it is not very appealing, not very glamorous. Bhagavan says still keep doing it. This is one of the best examples that you will find for this, right? Shreyan swadharmo vigunaha paradharmat swanushtitat is our Hanumanji. When Hanumanji has to go to Lanka, he has to jump across the ocean. He tells Jambavanji, because Jambavanji just tells him that your purpose is to accomplish Bhagavan's work. You have so much of strength in you. Why are you sitting very quietly? So Hanumanji becomes Parvatakara, becomes like a mountain, and he says, I can go there, bring entire Trikuta mountain here, along with Ravana, along with Sitaji. I can go and accomplish everything, but Jambavanji, please tell me what I should do. Jambavanji says, your job is not to do all those things. Bhagavan Rama is here. He will come and do it. You just go there, give this message to Sitaji and bring her message back. To finish Ravana, to take care of Lanka, that Bhagavan will do. It is not your swadharma. That clarity is there, that what I should be doing, what I should not be doing. Another contemporary example, if you want to find, other day we were discussing this IISc, Indian Institute of Science. The founding dialogue that happened was between the founder, J.R.D. Tataji and Swami Vivekananda. That was the inspiration for him. He just said a small statement that if you are going to some other country to test your ore, test all the materials, why don't you start an institute in your own country? And that inspired him, and he started that institute. That letter is still there on their website. You can go and see what he has written. But when he offered, he said, can you take the leadership of bringing up this institute, Science Institute? Then Swamiji said, I have other commitments. His main purpose was to teach Vedanta. That is his swadharma, so clear. Although this is a very good task, very good goal, but it is not my swadharma. So he endorsed it, but did not take up the main structure part of it, organizing part of it. Just few things that we should appreciate in Mahatmas, how to recognize our swadharma. Okay. Shreyan swadharmo vigunaha paradharmat swanushtitat. So paradharma means what? That which is done due to likes and dislikes. Even if I do it very well, Bhagavan says that is not what I should be doing. Now, second line is very beautiful. He says, Swadharme nidhanam shreya. How will you interpret this line? Swadharme nidhanam shreya. One meaning is, it is better to give up this body doing our swadharma than doing something that I should not be doing. Paradharmo bhayavaha. What is the implied meaning of this? Bhagavan says, true accomplishment of karma is not in the result, outside. True accomplishment of karma is not in the result outside. It is more related to how much of purity of mind I have gained inside. That is why it is said, Swadharme nidhanam shreya. If I have lived a good life doing my swadharma, and it has increased love for Bhagavan, because swadharma will do that. He says that is greater than doing paradharma and developing more vasanas. Why? Because what was the thing that pushed me into paradharma? Raga-dvesha. Right? Some preference was there which pushed me into some other dharma. So he says, Swadharma, if I did it well, then my existing vasanas would have gotten exhausted. And Gurudev would say, no new will get created if we are careful. Right? Conditions apply there also. But on the other hand, Paradharma, what did it do? Existing vasanas remained and new vasanas got created. Right? So that is why it is said, Paradharmo bhayavaha. It is very frightening. Okay. Now this is one meaning. That main purpose of karma is to get purity of mind, to develop devotion to Bhagwan, to become sweeter. Outside is a byproduct. Because Paradharma also, I can do it very well outside, but it is not my duty. Main gain of karma is inside. This is one meaning. Second meaning is also beautiful. Swadharme nidhanam shreya. Second layer of the meaning is, while having this physical body, while doing our swadharma, if we are able to negate this individuality. Swadharme nidhanam shreya. If I am able to negate this finitude, that is always the greatest thing I can accomplish. So nidhanam word here will go with removing of finitude. Okay, through my swadharma, it doesn't matter how great work I have accomplished outside. If I can get purity of mind, study Vedanta and remove this finitude, Bhagavan says that is Shreya. What is Bhayaha? Staying in this Jivatva. Paradharma means identifying with conditionings. Identifying with that thing which I am not. He says that is frightening. Paradharmaha bhayavaha. Okay. Swadharme nidhanam shreyaha paradharmo bhayavaha. Now, if we just want to do a high-level reflection, what is Bhagavan trying to say here? More detailed, we saw every word we saw. What are the different layers of meaning? What Bhagavan says is, if we are doing our swadharma sincerely, that thing will keep everything integrated. Anything that has to function in this creation, Bhagavan says, it has to go by swadharma. Our own body, you see, how seamlessly it functions. Right? All sense organs are doing only their swadharma. Ears cannot see, eyes cannot hear. If they try to do it, they complement each other. They coordinate with each other, but they don't try to feel that, my role is insignificant. Or they try to do somebody else's role. That thing doesn't happen. In Chandogya Upanishad, there is a portion called as Kalaha Shruti. Kalaha means quarrel, but among sense organs. Suddenly, sense organ, they start feeling, who is the greatest amongst all? Eyes start feeling, without me you cannot see. Ears start feeling something else. Nose starts feeling something else. They go to Brahmaji and they say, who is the greatest amongst us all? Brahmaji says, you decide. One by one you leave and then see whether everything is kept together or not. So eyes leave, it goes for vacation for 1 year. Sense organ of the eye, it goes away. And it comes back and asks everybody else, how did you manage without me? How did you all manage without me? So all other sense organs said, we found it difficult, but after a while we got used to it. Hands made sure that we go to the right place. Legs made sure that we go to the right place. Skin sense organ and so on. So like this, one by one, every sense organ comes and, they realize that even if I'm not there, things were okay. But last one is prana. Prana gets ready to say, I want to go for vacation. All other sense organs say, you cannot go. Because if prana leaves, what other sense organs are going to do? So then Brahmaji says, this prana is Bhagavan. Meditate upon this prana as Bhagavan. And then serve this prana. In that, all your well-being is there, not to decide who is greater, who is greater and who is smaller. Kalaha Shruti. Even if you take family, for that matter, right? How can a family stay together? It's only when everybody is doing their own swadharma. If one person ends up doing all the things, that means we need to revisit. Cooking also, cleaning also, laundry also, right? In general, how is it? Everybody has roles assigned. Right? There might be times when we have to take each other's role, but if I'm taking something from the family, it is my duty to give back. That part becomes my swadharma. You take a bigger entity like a company. So many departments are there, right? Finance is there, sales is there, technical team is there. Now all of them have their own swadharmas. And suddenly the sales team feels, this finance people, I can do that. I have the skill, I can also take care of it. That way I have more control over what should be my sales thing. What will be the main organizational structure? They'll say, Shreyan Swadharmo Vigunaha, Paradharmat Swanushtitat. Even if you have the ability to do something, make sure that you do what you are supposed to be doing. If it is true everywhere else, we should try to apply that for ourselves also. But the main thing is, I should identify my swadharma through those coordinates. Also look at what is my goal. And then make sure I'm headed towards my goal. Okay. Swadharma is a very elaborate topic and very beautiful also for us to be more happy in life. We end up taking so many things otherwise, and all our priorities get flipped. What I should be doing, what is my goal, and what I'm doing right now. Okay. More we can reflect in the next session. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. There are a few announcements, but before we go into the announcement, I just wanted to reiterate our Pujya Swami Swarupananji's camp, which is coming up in July, 1st of July to 15 July. It will be an immersive marathon Bhagavad Gita camp in Krishnalaya in PRC. So if you are looking for some retreat which is more, contemplative, more longer duration, so this is the right retreat. If you have not seen Krishnalaya, then please do look out for the pictures, which are there on the website. A very serene place. Puja Gurudev would call it as Uttar Kashi of the West. We cannot go to pilgrimage spots every year, every month. He said, I'll give you one right here. So Puja Swamiji will be here and conducting sessions on the first 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita. Okay. And the registration is getting filled up. So if you are considering, do sign up very soon. They have a cap also because of other restrictions on how many we can accommodate. Okay. Hari Om.